For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society. For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
Many thanks for sister with us. This is Big Talk from Global TV. A whole lot of developments in respect to political parties. These are rare. Labour Party are having their own crisis, and NNPP in Kano State are also having their own crisis. PDP, the major opposition party, are also having their crisis. There are concern of how far the political parties are really surviving this period. What's the problem with political parties in the country? And are those that argue that we need the political parties to tackle some of the issues we have in the country in respect to, constructively engaging the ruling party in getting some of their policies right and the developments in the country. Before we now go back to that of Anambra local government autonomy, let's get the discussion over the PDP crisis. There are a lot of concern under the headship. Damagun's exit looks, tricky right now. Governors that seems to be backing, the move of the chairman's suspension. And there are those that are probably calling on the Damagun to leave office on the grounds that not central by the constitution ought to be in the place of the chairman of the party. There are a lot of reactions by stakeholders and politicians in respect to the PDP crisis. Joining us is a member of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. David Itopa. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much, Mike.
There are a lot of concern with your party. And I've had these interactions over and over again. There are those that feel that there are those that are bigger than the party. Damagun's exit, we had suspension, but now the governor said all is well within the party. But it looks like people are not still happy about all of this management. What's the problem from your own end?
Once again, thank you very much for having me. Good evening, Nigerians. My name is David Itopa from Kogi State, convener, PDP Youth Alliance for Good Governance, and a dedicated member of the People's Democratic Party. You see, there are some people that want to come at it from this angle. That is a major tussle, political tussle between the Wike's camp and then the Atiku's camp. But I like to say that people that are treading on that part of narrative are just trying to trivialize this issue. I want to believe that we have since long past that narrative. And what is actually the crux now, the main issue bedeviling the People's Democratic Party now is the issue of the leadership, which of course, as it concerns Damagun, the substantive elected Deputy National Chairman not of the party, who stepped into acting position when, of course, Professor Iyorchia Ayu left office. So, and the position became vacant. And then Section 47(6) of our party is clear on this matter. That look, when a national officer leaves the party, Now, the assistants, in the case of the national chairman, we have 2 deputy national chairmans, one from the north and then one from the south. So in the case where the chairman is from the north, so we require the deputy national chairman not to step in acting position. As you know, that's leadership. There is no vacuum in leadership. So he has to move into that position in acting capacity for 90 days, upon which it is only the NEC that can actually, convene. And then,
who convene the next
yes,
meeting?
the chairman, yes. Our constitution empowers only the chairman to convene the NEC meeting. And then upon which, after the 90 days, it is either he gets more time in office or we go for an outright selection or election, as the case may be. And then section 47(6) of our party already required that, look, the zone, in the case of vacancy, the zone, mind you, it says the zone. I don't know if I'm permitted to read that out, so that Nigerians can see for themselves. He said, where a vacancy occurs in any of the offices of the party, the executive committee at the appropriate level shall appoint another person from the area or zone where the officer originated from to serve out the tenure of the office. In this case, Dr. Iyorchia Ayu is from the North Central, Benue State to be precise. So now, Damagum coming in, he just stepped in as in acting position.
Because he was the vice chairman.
Because he was the vice chairman, not. I don't know if you are getting me. I'm trying to lay down this foundation so that we don't, because I've heard so many narratives.
It doesn't look that North Central did not have a vice chairman.
No. Where there's a chairman, because, okay, now, for purpose of clarity, when we are electing people into office, it is usually micro-zoned to avoid rancor.
6 geopolitical zones.
6 geopolitical zones. You understand? To avoid rancor and too many of this stress that comes with, elections. So, Iyorchia Ayu is from North Central, Benue State to be precise. And then Damagum, who is from the Northeast, of course, is also from the North. But remember, I said it was zoned. The main office will be zoned. Now, he is supposed to step in acting position so that there should be no vacuum with that office. And then after a period of 90 days, he is supposed to have moved, or the NEC will convene and decide if they should, extend his stay or go for an outright election or selection, as the case may be. But in this case, the man has refused to go. And that is what is causing all this rancor. That is the reason for the whole hula baloo. So when I see people jumping from here to there, creating narratives that are not even suitable to this, I just laugh at them. I'm like, what are we saying?
Let's not shy away from issue, because we understand the interpretation of the Constitution, but it looks that the war we are having today is more than what the Constitution really have. That those interpretations that those that feels that the issue is from the 2023 primaries. That those that still feels that there was a missing line within the politics of 2023. These are the factors. The other end says, if we had a presidential candidate from the north, that then people were asking that Ayu should vacate office in confirmation of the fact that Ayu had reiterated that if at the end of the primaries we conduct, we have the candidate emerge from the north, that he would vacate from office. Did he confirm that? Because we also have records that he said that. But if he didn't say so, what happens to fairness of PDP? Because there are those that feel PDP hankers on fairness, equity, and justice. What are the justice, fairness, and equity of the PDP, which is in line with the constitution of the party that you have there?
Thank you, Mike, for this question. You see, I do not have it on record. It is possible that he said so, but I do not have it on record that he said if the president emerges from the north, he is going to vacate the office. Now, I want you to quote me. I am not aware. I am not saying he didn't say that, but for me, I don't have the record. So I can't speak to issues I do not have the record. But then, it's a question of character. It's a question of personal information that, look, if I am from the north, and then the presidential candidate is from the north, it is now, the onus is now bent on me, for the sake of equity and justice sake, to vacate the office. Mind you, the person we are talking about, I do not hold briefs for Dr. Iyorchia Ayu. I do not hold briefs for him, but I'm speaking to the issues in the party. Now, if he feels, okay, the presidential candidate is from the north, and he also is from the North Central, and he feels it's okay for him to vacate the office, of course he should. That's why I said it boils down to the question of personality and character of individuals. Now, mind you that Dr. Iyorchia Ayu was duly elected as a substantive national chairman of the party. There are only 2 ways upon which he can leave which we can take him out of the office. Either by convention, or if he is found wanting And of course,
So the statement was conventional, it wasn't constitutional.
If
If he had made the statement of the understanding that if we
he
have
had made
enough
made that statement, trust me, it is not constitutional. It is conventional. It's a matter of personal.
But it goes against the principles of your party in respect to fairness and equity. It's questionable.
Mind you, if
because it's character that you're talking of.
Mind you, if you are talking about, if you are going to toe this direction, may I quickly remind Nigerians that the basis for zoning the presidential slot to the north was actually an open deliberation thing. It was one that required all stakeholders, governors, House of Rep members, House of Rep caucuses, all major stakeholders. It was not a one-man show. I don't know if you get it. And at the end of the day, it was not even zoned to the north. At the end of the day, it was thrown open because some power block within the party believed that if it was thrown open, they had what it takes. They have all. Some people are beginning to play God. They feel they have all it takes to clink the ticket. And when that did not happen, and that is part of the reason why we have all this crisis now. So those who are saying that the crisis emanated from 2023 election may not be completely wrong. But what I know is that the issue of Atiku Wike face-off, I mean, I believe we have long passed that phase now. It is time to allow the party to breathe.
But
It is time to allow the party to galvanize together and serve as the opposition, the main opposition in Nigeria, to put the government on its toes. So all this dragging the party here and there and trying to derail the party, for me.
Mr. David, your party has set up a reconciliatory committee. Were you satisfied with that move? Because you are saying the party must move forward.
Of course, the party must move forward.
And if you are not ready to have the conversation of
Michael, I know where you are going to, but I'm going to come in. You cannot build something on illegality. Now, and I will say this now without missing words. As far as the People's Democratic Party is concerned, the position of the national chairman of the party is vacant as we speak.
So he's not the one that ought to have set up the committee. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, he doesn't have such. He doesn't have such powers. As far as we are concerned, the People's Democratic, he doesn't have such powers. See, the position that is in contention today is the position of the national chairman of the party, which is rightfully zoned to the north central geopolitical zone of Nigeria. As far as we are concerned, it's vacant. The person there can go to his house, sleep in his house, and hang his bag of shame. Nobody really cares. He was duly elected as the deputy national chairman of the party north. So remember that he's still occupying that position as we speak. So he can go back. All we are saying is he should go back to his office and allow for elections for North Central to appoint or elect the next person to become chairman of the party. That is all we are saying.
There's a court judgment. I mean, when you look at the issues of suspension, there's been a court judgment, last week, confirming that whatever decision must be taken against Damagum should be delayed to 2025 till the convention of the party, which, according to the judgment we received, which I know that you're also privy to that judgment, there are those interpretations that there are crises now, and we do not want this thing to escalate. It looks that issues of PDP is not just an internal party, because you always say it's a PDP affair. It's a PDP affair. And
there's a Supreme Court ruling on this matter.
It has gone
that the court cannot decide what happened in the intra-party
what we
affair.
are having now has gone beyond party.
No, it hasn't. It's an intra-party affair. It's a family affair, and then we have this to take care of everything. Except we are just being mischievous deliberately.
So let me tell you something from the court.
No. I'm coming, Mike. Let me make something abundantly clear now.
All right.
For somebody that is occupying an illegal position to go to court and seek a court injunction from removing him from that office, first of all, I mean, it's laughable. I just look at it, and then I see some comrades defending. I was like, what is wrong? What are we doing to ourselves? First of all, you are not even in that position. You are not even elected into that position. You have run to court to collect injunction for. You are not even the national chairman. So it's like I don't know. I don't even know how best to buttress this point. But as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have such jurisdiction to go to court to get injunction from removing him from the chairman of the party. First of all, he's not the chairman of the party. He's only there in acting capacity. So why is he running from court to court? It doesn't make any sense. And let me tell you something. I think we must begin to give credits and applause to the National Public Secretary of the party. I'm talking about Barrister Ologun Abadibo. Because
He was also suspended.
No, the purported suspension. It was. So
if we're saying that
it was a backyard. It was a backyard suspension.
I'm coming.
That suspension never.
I'm coming. If you said that public secretary's suspension was purported, that those are also feel that Damagun's suspension was also purported.
Did you hear anybody talk about Debo's suspension? What was on the news everywhere? What was on the news everywhere was the chairman's suspension because he is occupied an illegal position.
We had the assistant public secretary of the party assuming office as an acting national public secretary. Who swore him? He has held press conferences at the party secretariat.
Mike, let me tell you, people can decide to be deliberately mischievous.
But
it doesn't take away facts on ground. You can decide to play around the truth, but it doesn't change the truth. And we must give credit to Debo because Honorable Debo Ologunagba, in the face of obvious intimidation and serious obstacles and serious crisis that was rocking the party, when people decided to take sides with what seemed to be rocking the boat of the party, Debo and a few members of the NWC stood aside and stood on the truth. And let me tell you something, no matter how lie travels, the truth will always catch up with it.
What's the truth?
And that is the fact.
What's the truth?
That is the fact that Damagun is an acting national chairman he is not the chairman.
Is the problem of PDP political, or would you also subscribe that it's spiritual?
No, it's political. There are bound to be contention here and there, so it's political, it's not spiritual.
The reason I'm asking that question is because it looks that it's getting tougher in respect to all of these. We've seen the Governors Forum tearing apart. NWC is tearing apart. The NEC is tearing apart. It looks like nowhere is holding water for the People's Democratic Party. And we are both concerned that if PDP cannot put their house together, I'm sure that the economy of this country and the future of this country would have been well managed by a political party like PDP. That's the concern of Nigerians.
Mike, I don't want to believe that the party cannot hold itself together or hold the house together.
But have you seen the division? The division from these organs of the party I've mentioned?
I want to say something clearly, and I want Nigerians to agree with me. There is this saying, what happens to this saying that just before the day breaks is the darkest of the night? I'm sure you are quite familiar with that adage. And so that is what we are seeing playing out. And I must commend the Governors Forum as led by His Excellency Senator Bala of Bauchi State for his 10 leadership and then at this critical time providing real leadership for the party. I must commend the Governors Forum for their swift intervention because the moment we are in now calls for all hands on deck. I'm talking about all well-loving PDP members and not the cash and carry party members. The people that really mean well, because if you mean well for the party, it means that you mean well for Nigeria. Without the PDP in one full house to put the ruling party APC in check, I mean, it's obvious that things are falling apart. So these are the demands of PDP stakeholders. Damagun should not extend his stay beyond the 24th of this month. The next meeting of this 26th month is sacrosanct and is not negotiable. There is nobody that can put a stop to it except God. And I know God is on the side of the truth, as always.
Because the reason I ask if it's political, because if we look at Labour Party is also having its own headship crisis. It looks at APC are the only party that are stable politically.
No.
And NPP also having their own crisis.
It
looks that we are having crisis upon crisis within the party. And if PDP that have been in power for 16 years and now that ought to probably be, the leader of all political parties are having all of this disarray, it looks that there's a long way to go. But we want to come back to that conversation. Let me get back to Anambra State, where the APGA state chairman has just done us very briefly this evening. Let's get back to that discussion. Honorable, thanks so much for joining us. There are a lot of concern. People are bothered that Mr. Soludo, your governor, is setting a pace where if other states have to emulate, this probably would defeat the intention of the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. What can you tell Nigerians who feels this way? On the other hand, also reiterating the commitment where the governor feels that he has to work with a joint committee, to grant some of these development back to the local people.
Can you hear me there?
Yes, Honorable, go ahead, please. Honorable, I can hear you. Please go ahead, please.
Can you hear me there? I've got you, Mustafa. Can you hear me there?
Honorable, I can hear you. Please go ahead, please. Honorable, if you can hear me, my question was majorly about, we've seen Mr. Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, reiterating his commitment for a joint account in respect to the local government autonomy, and that those that are having, a concern on how far this can go, wouldn't that defeat the intention of the Supreme Court judgment over financial autonomy? Quickly react to that, please. All right, Mr. Chairman, of course, we'd love to have you join us, but it looks we're having a connection issues right there. We'll get the chairman back on the program because of that. Let's get back to the studio as we keep on beaming a light on the crisis within the People's Democratic Party. Mr. David, there are those that feel that we have two factions in all of this. Atiku's faction is key. Awike's faction is key. There are those that feel that the minister ought to have been suspended on anti-party affairs. And those that also tell you that even the people in Atiku's camp, one way or the other, are also victim of anti-party, affairs. That if you are trying to suspend this one, it looks that everybody will be involved. There are those that says that he that goes for equity should go with very clean hands. That the approach to dealing with other political members, party members, and should not just be, determinant to one. That in all fairness to all of them, that those that feel that everyone are involved. Do you feel that suspending the former governor of Rivers State can solve the problem of the PDP?
Let me start by saying this. You said something just now that there is a popular quote that says those that seek equity must come with what? Clean hands. Let me tell you, as far as a party is concerned, an organization is concerned, or even Nigeria is concerned, we are governed by laws. And these laws are in print, in black and white. They are not some sort of spiritual laws. They are in black and white. And it has stated clearly, unambiguously, how to deal with people who goes against these rules and regulations of the party. It is only when you follow the letters of this constitution or these rules and guidelines, so to speak, that you can only get peace. Now, let me tell you another thing. I do not believe, like I say, I'm still going to keep saying it. Yeah, Atiku is a big factor. He, former governor of Rivers State and now FCT Minister Wike is also a big factor. But I will also tell you that there are even unseen hands that you do not know. But they are also big factors. For example, the ordinary card-carrying member of the party on the street is also a big factor. Because for what is what, our founding fathers, in their own wisdom, they did not bequeath unto us a personal democratic party. No. They gave us a party which was christened People's Democratic Party. It means not one man should be bigger than the party. It means the party does not belong to one person. It is not a sole estate, a sole right of one man. The party belongs to the people. It's the people's property. And so when some people begin to think that, okay, we should dance to the rhythm and blues and music of one single individual, then you start selling the very basics, the very ideologies of the party, the very reason, the very essence of that party. You start selling it to one man. And then you start making it look like it's an empire where one man wields and then dictates everything that happens. So that is what I quickly want to say. It is not about suspending this person or suspending that person. Anybody who is found wanting.
Even if it's you.
Even if it is me.
All right. A former governor of Ekiti State had said, look, we must go ahead as a party that former vice president and your former presidential candidate should rest for 2027. Now, those are probably feeling that his ambition probably was not right enough. If we had a Northerner ending his term as a president, that ordinary, he would have allowed it to go to the south, and that his ambition had cost the party a lot. Do you subscribe to that call?
To be honest, with due respect to the former governor of Ekiti State, Governor Ayo Fayose, that statement was rather reckless. Because...
Don't you think it comes from the passion to get the party right?
No, I don't think so. I think that statement stems out of a sentimental approach to probably, do away with somebody they feel is a big masquerade in the house. I think that is where that statement is coming from. First of all, there is no law within the party and the Federal Constitution of Nigeria as amended that stops any individual who has attained the right qualities, who have fulfilled all constitutional what have you, to contest for an election. That's nothing stopping him. If Atiku wants to contest tomorrow, as long as he has not been found wanting, as long as let me ask you, is he an ex-convict? Because those are the only people that have not met the requirements of the law, that the law will say, okay, fine, you cannot contest. So why should someone come on national television and say, look, this man should not contest, you should go and arrest? No. I think
such still have the capacity.
Yes, I think such statements were rather reckless.
All right, I'll be back to you. Let's get back to Awka, Anambra State, where the chairman of APGA is still getting to connect with us, look at some of these issues from the local government autonomy. The House of Assembly had passed it to law, and the governor have also signed a concern on how this means. Mr. Chairman, if you can hear me clearly, quickly react towards the issues that have been raised by the public, that those are views that Anambra is trying to set a template that will undermine the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. What is your take?
Let me tell you that far from what you just said, Mr. Governor, the governor of Anambra State, has set a template. I will assure you that in a very short time to come, a lot of states will want to copy. When we talk about the Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court decision was informed by a certain background, a background upon which before then there were situations where local governments didn't exist at all. In some part of this country, let me not mention what part of the country, the local governments are opened at the end of the month. They come in, stakeholders, share the revenue, and it's locked up again. When you come to some other parts of the Federation, we have the challenges of caretaker. We had the challenges of caretaker committees being run rather than democratically elected local government councils as stipulated by Section 7. When we begin to look at what happened at the Supreme Court, a couple of questions arise. You will find out in all sincerity that there is still the provision of Section 7, particularly Section 7.3, 7.6 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Supreme Court did not strike down, did not nullify any of those provisions. And of course, they couldn't have, because these are provisions of the Constitution. We also have the provisions of Section 162, 6 particularly, of the Constitution. Supreme Court made references of these sections, did not strike them down, nor did they nullify them. Now, regarding the Anambra State Economic Development Planning and Development Law, when you go back and read the provisions of Section 6, Section 7.3 and 7.6 of the Constitution, you'll find out that what Mr. Governor of Anambra State has done is to give operational life to the decision of the Supreme Court. Because at the end of the day, yes, it has agreed. The local governments have to get their own revenue. But through what operational means, it's not a question of saying, send the revenue to the local government. There must be collaboration between the state and the local government councils, because they can't operate in vacuum. There are common services that must be shared between the local government and the state, of course. If you come to Anambra, for instance, when Mr. Governor came in 2022, we were in arrears of pension and gratuity commitment 2018, and this is shared amongst all the local governments. And now you have the Service Commission that ensures these things are amortized from time to time every month, and we've come up to 2019, since 2018 when this area started. You have common services regarding health, education. You have common services regarding teachers employment, and so on. So you see, the local government, as much as they will have the autonomy, there definitely is nothing like absolute autonomy, because they must work in conjunction with the state government for it to work. So to that extent, I must tell you that what Mr. Governor in Anambra State has done is to give life to the judgment of the Supreme Court so that it will be effective. That law you're talking about contemplates that all the local government chairmen will be in council, where they will be part of the process of distribution of their allocation.
All right, Mr. Chairman, not to cut you short, but because of time, and just the last question I'm going to ask because of time. There are those that feel that if he had all of these good intentions, why now that we have a the Supreme Court judgment compelling allocations to the local government, what was the structure of local government operation? That those that have said local government election was not conducted over time, why the rush now to get all of this concerned? Just quickly before we wrap up, please.
There was of course no rush. We were planning to have this local government election by the end of the year. Unfortunately, as it were, the Supreme Court judgment came and everybody was obliged to do it within 3 months, as had been agreed at the Council of State level. So we had to begin to rush things to meet up the 3 months period. If we didn't do that, there was also the threat that those states that could not conduct election, that their funds will be seized. You now see why we had to do us within the limited time of the 3 months. So it was not like a rush. We had already planned for this election for sometime in December or early January, but the circumstances of the Supreme Court judgment compelled us to go backwards and do the needful within the very short time. And I must commend every institution involved, the State Assembly, for doing a very good work within the limited time, and the ANSEC for doing a wonderful job within such a limited time.
Honorable, apologies, we do not really have all out of that time. Of course, we'll have you back on the program to also express some of these developments. But thanks so much for sparing some of your evening from Awka in Anambra State with us on the program Big Talk. We deeply appreciate that, Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it too.
All right, of course, Honorable David, because of time, of course, we would have advanced this conversation, but very quickly, before we wrap up, just in a seconds, do you feel that there's a future in all of this for PDP?
Oh, of course, the future is bright. Like I said, the future we are talking about begins on 24th of this month, when the NEC shall convene and then give a direction to the course of the party, and then we'll begin to galvanize the party into the strong and very formidable PDP that we used to know. I'm ready to challenge
But for now, Damaguni is still the acting chairman, even when you don't want to accept.
No, I never said he wasn't the acting chairman. I only said he occupies an illegal a seat that is not his. That's my position.
In the eyes of the law, Mr. Damaguni is still the chairman of People's Democratic Party. But that's it on tonight's Big Talk. A whole lot of development in respect to political parties. We'll try as much as possible to get the side of NNPP. It looks like all is not well in Kano state politics. A whole lot of suspension within the party and all of those controversies between the former governor, Kwankwaso, and Governor Abba Yusuf. We'll get that to also get advance. What is the cause of the problem and the concern coming from NNPP in Kano State? That's the size of tonight's show of Big Talk. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now. Hi, Medic and Michael.